Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently working on taking our communications module here over to the space station that is orbiting the moon. So of course we're going to need to plot an intercept course with the moon here, and we'll go ahead and add a maneuver right around here, and that's a little bit extreme of a maneuver, but we'll take a look at what that's looking like. If I can grab this a bit, and something along the lines of... yeah, this'll do. Fantastic. So that's decent. I mean, the inclination is way off, but we have plenty of delta V to fix that in our liquid fuel here. So we'll go ahead and position for that. I'm going to physics warp as we turn here, because this is not designed to have this whole tank attached while we turn. So we'll just go ahead and position for this burn. And we're going to need to stop this turn soon enough, but not quite yet. We'll try stopping it now, because momentum is a thing. Actually, we'll just stop the physics warp at this point, and we'll continue heading over, and we'll just start a regular warp to break this. That's the way to go. So we will do that. Fantastic. We'll go ahead and warp to the next maneuver. And we can see we're slightly off on our maneuver node here, but that's okay. We'll head on over to that node. We want to burn this at T-minus 7.5 seconds, so we'll physics warp our way over. Okay. And position on the node yet again. And we'll go ahead and warp towards 7.5 seconds. Hello, sun. Fantastic. That is technically Kerbal. Cool. I missed our timing by a little bit because I was busy looking directly at the sun, which is not recommended, I hear. But we're going to just go ahead and burn this regardless. Being slightly off on the timing isn't a huge deal. Okay. Just going to burn very slightly to try to steer here. Okay. We're going to use RCS to steer. Attempting to make our way over there. This is probably close enough. Let's go ahead and turn RCS off. Oh yeah, this is close enough. So we will go ahead and warp to here. Moon, here we come. Goodbye, Kerbal. And we'll be arriving there shortly. Once we arrive here, of course, we will need to do a braking burn at the periapsis. And how much delta V will that be? We'll go ahead and see here. We'll just do something kind of like this-ish. I mean, we could encapsulate this, circularize it a bit. That's probably fine. Yeah, that'll be okay. So we'll just go ahead and do that. I do wish I had bothered to bring something that can lock to nodes, but it's not super important. So we're going to burn about half of this delta V by stopping our... velocity? What am I even trying to say? We're going to burn about half of this delta V retrograde here. And we're going to burn probably close to the rest matching plane is my guess here. We'll see how that ends up going. I just want to double check that. Yeah, that's okay. And we should be able to activate the docking port after the decoupler detaches. I hope. This fairing isn't really necessary. We'll just put it up there. And we're just heading up to this node here. Just attempting to go up a bit. And this is close enough. So we'll brake like that, and then we'll go up a little bit. There we go. That's about the alignment we're looking for. And we'll just go ahead and warp over here. I'll definitely be glad when we're done with this tank. That's for sure. So we're going to burn this at about T-minus 1.5 seconds, and we'll go ahead and warp towards that. It doesn't really matter when we do this. It's not a huge deal. But we'll warp to here. And we'll burn this right about now. Close enough. That'll do. We'll go ahead and set the science station as our target. The ascending node is right over here, so we're going to need to burn a little bit in either normal or anti-normal. I'm never sure which one it is. It is anti-normal. Okay, that was a little too much. About like that. So that's the majority of our remaining fuel here. It's a very small burn. I don't want to go this far over. There we go. Mostly just up. Okay. So we'll position for this node. Just breaking it a little bit, and then going to tweak this positioning. There we go. That'll do. And we'll go ahead and warp towards this next position. And honestly, I don't think it matters too much when we do this burn. It matters a little bit, but we'll just go ahead and warp forward a little more, and we'll start the burn at about T-minus 10 seconds here. I'm going to be doing a very cautious burn. So we're going to do something kind of like this. Yeah, that'll do just fine. We'll attempt to chase that node a little bit here. That's probably good enough. Yeah, that's good enough, I'd say. 0.1 degrees does mean that we could burn it a little further, but we'd really want to wait until the ascending node for that. I think this is good enough. So let's go ahead and do a small retrograde burn here, and that's going to need to be delayed. When do we want to burn this? Actually, that's reasonably close. Reasonably. Yeah, right about here is when we'd want to burn that. That is very, very close. So can we tweak that to be any closer? This is good enough. 60 meters per second. We'll be fine. We'll burn out all of this in our retrograde burn, and I'm not concerned about that at all. I want to burn off the rest of this tank, so that'll be fine. We're definitely not designed for turning this much. That's for sure. This poor reaction wheel. Okay, we'll just go ahead and make our way on over via physics warp to the maneuver node. We'll call that good, and we will warp on over. Excellent. So this is going to be a retrograde burn, and it's going to be a very minute one, but it's roughly half of our remaining delta V here. Okay. Not quite half, but close. Once again, this is a very minute burn, so I'm going to be pretty careful with it. And we're going to start our burn right about now. I'd like to chase that node a bit more. Okay. Just a bit more. We're going to try to turn over here. It's very difficult to maneuver this thing. There's no doubt about that. Probably close enough, right? Yeah, that's close enough. Okay, so this is going to be in about 17 minutes that we'll intersect. We'll go ahead and warp to here. And let's switch over to target mode. And that's the station there. So in we come. And we're currently pointing like pro target. We're going to need to get flipped all the way around. So we'll go ahead and work on that. All the way around we go. Because we want to be at target retrograde, which is coincidentally also anti-target right now, or very close to it. Okay, yeah, it's very close to it. You can see that we're going to be a little bit off based on the nodes here, but that's fine. We'll just position anti-target, and inward we go. We'll warp on in. Okay. We're about 1.5 kilometers out here, and that's okay. Carrying the fins this whole distance has been kind of silly, but I think we'll just go ahead and burn our relative speed off now. Right. This is opposite. So we need to flip this around. And we need to be at pro target at this point. So something like this. Now this is sadly going to run us into our booster. So let's just get a little distance here. And we're going to burn pro target. Everything will be opposite because our engines are backwards. They're mounted that way deliberately, to be clear. Okay. So that's close enough. Now we want to burn anti-target. That's going to take some getting used to. We want to get closer, so we want to find anti-target. Where is that? That'll be over here. Yes. And this will burn us towards the target. Excellent. And we'll burn in at about 3 meters per second. That'll do. Now we're going to need to flip around to prograde because we want to slow down. This is so weird. I think you can actually swap it. Let's see here. Control point default. Maybe you can't swap it. Regardless, this is fine. I'll just have to remember. So we're coming on in with our comms module, and of course, this here is our docking port. And that's why these are mounted backwards. Okay, we are under 100 meters away. We're continuing to come on in, and we should probably consider slowing down here pretty soon. So we'll start a bit of a slowdown burn. This is like half a meter per second. We're only 35 meters away right now. I overshot that a little bit. We'll flip around. Actually, we don't need to flip around. We could just use our RCS, which would be fine. We would need to get into position here. Not like that. There we go. Okay, I want to attach to this port here. So, we're going to need to flip to anti-target here. Like this. Okay. And then we flip here, and we want to make this be our control point. So if I can actually right-click this, that would be nice. Apparently I can't. Why can I not right-click you, buddy? That would be awfully nice if I could. But apparently that's not a thing. Well, we'll just have to eyeball it, I guess. It's awkward for sure. The other thing that we could do is leave this static. Oh, wait. We have no probe control here. Yeah, that would do the trick. So we'll leave this static, and we're going to have to come in over this way. So in that case, we want to burn a little bit anti-target, but I want to bring it over here. Okay. We'll just position retrograde here. And we'll just wait until we are in approximately the correct orientation. And we'll use RCS to kill our relative velocity as soon as we can. And I believe that's going to be N. And we'll actually accelerate us. Okay, so it's H. Got it. Yes, that is correct. Cool. So we'll get positioned here. This is going to be approximately correct right about now. So let's go ahead and kill that relative velocity. And now we're going to point away from the target. Like so. And we'll head in at about half a meter per second. Cool. And we'll adjust that actual velocity with IJKL on the RCS. This is all backwards. Okay. That's not surprising, but it is all backwards. But I think we're good. Or close to it. Just a little bit of tweaking our actual velocity there. Our angle is not quite correct, but docking forces should compensate for that, I believe. Docking force is going a little ham there, but beautiful. Look at that. And now we have a communications module on our station. So that's fantastic. We can turn the SAS on, and we kind of don't want to be tumbling, so we'll just hold right here for now, and we can start transmitting our science whenever we want. So that'll be great. There we go. 2 science added. Perfect. So let's head on back to the Space Center. That was a little more awkward than I was hoping for, but it all ended up working out in the end. And let's see what we might want to work on next. We do need to do both a moon landing and a Minmus landing. Oh, this is a bug that has happened previously where there's just absolutely no lighting on the ground. I think that might be an EVE bug, but I'm not sure about that. We'll hop into mission control and let's just see what we've got here. A new orbital station around Minmus. Not a lot to be done there, in all honesty. Okay. I think that a Minmus landing is our next move. So let's go ahead and open up a... not comms module. We want just the Moonlander. And honestly, the Moonlander should be fully capable of landing on Minmus as well. This should not be a problem. So we will, I think, go ahead and launch this as is. I want to check, where do we fire those cones? Okay, looks good. So who are we going to send to Minmus? Well, we're definitely going to be sending Valentina. Valentina will be our pilot. And our 2 scientists are currently otherwise occupied in orbit around the moon. So we're actually going to need to hire in a new scientist here. Let's go ahead and do that. Hey, this is lit now. Fantastic. Let's hop into here, and we're going to grab, I think Hadgard is the only scientist currently available. So we're going to bring in Hadgard. And Hadgard is going to be brought along. Do we need to bring Bill? We don't need to, but I guess he could get some XP. And Valentina needs the XP more than Jeb does right now, so that'll be fine. Also, Valentina would absolutely murder us if we landed on Minmus without bringing her along, because she wants that delicious, delicious mint ice cream. Nobody tell her that it is not, in fact, mint ice cream, because she will be very angry. So we'll go ahead and launch this. This exact same design should be perfectly fine for landing on Minmus as well. If you can land on the moon, you can land on Minmus. That's my philosophy. So we'll go ahead and SAS on and throttle up, and off we go. Fantastic. We'll start heading on over on our gravity turn. And then Valentina can lock to prograde. Perfect. We have this mainsail, or actually this isn't a mainsail, this is a skipper. We maybe should have considered going for a skipper, or rather a mainsail, but we've got the Delta V for this. Are these thrust limited? They're not. Okay. Well, overall it seems to be reasonably okay. This ascent profile is very heavily weighted towards horizontal speed. That's reasonably okay. Maybe a little too heavily weighted, but we'll see. I tend to overshoot the altitude, so we'll see how that goes. 700 meters per second here, apoapsis height of about 28 kilometers. I mean, time to apoapsis is still increasing, so in theory, we're fine here. Our SRBs are going to be falling off now. And off we go. Our thrust to weight is below 1.0, so this definitely would need to be upgraded to a mainsail. There's no doubt about that. But for the time being, we appear to be okay. Time to apoapsis is holding. And atmosphere is thinning out. So, yeah, this seems to be fine. No real problem there. I mean, we do have this as our maneuvering stage as well, so I'm not too concerned about it. Time to apoapsis is now increasing again. That is wonderful, as our thrust to weight increases as well. And we've got plenty of Delta V for this. I mean, we shouldn't be worried about it, but This would definitely flow a little bit more efficiently with a mainsail as opposed to the skipper. So we should consider doing that. I'm shocked we've remained at 90-degree heading this whole time. Utterly shocked. So we're going to target an apoapsis height of, I think, 100 kilometers, and our horizontal speed is quite good. I'm really not concerned about our horizontal speed. So this is fine. We're putting almost all of our velocity right now into horizontal, which is exactly what we want. This ascent profile was pretty much perfect. Not quite perfect, but pretty perfect. At this point, I would like to be exactly at the horizon and only putting speed into horizontal. So that's what we'll do. Okay. And we can just do a little bit of an orbital insertion burn here. A little bit more delta V for this than I was expecting, but that's fine. 271 meters per second means that we've still got plenty in these tanks. So yeah, I mean, this is not a problem. We're not going to have any issues whatsoever going to min-miss. So we will physics warp our way on over. Ooh, that's a little bit exciting. A little bit Kraken-y there. Ooh, we'll maybe not physics warp it. Perfect. And we'll get into position for this burn and go ahead and warp on forward. We're going to want to burn this at T minus 9.5 seconds. So we can warp a little faster. No doubt about that. This is, of course, going to be a pure prograde burn, so we may want to just burn prograde, just position prograde, but this will be fine for now. So 9.5 seconds. So we want to burn this now. And off we go into orbit. And we'll still have some delta V in this for our min-miss burn. We're going to ditch this stage in the middle of the min-miss burn, but that'll be fine. We can still bring this up a little bit. Perfect. Good enough. Okay, we're going to actually have to do an inclination change for going to min-miss. That's right. So we'll set min-miss as our target, and at this ascending node, it looks like we are going to need to burn anti-normal. And this is going to be the majority of the fuel in this tank. 0.1. We don't get it perfect. Maybe if we change when we burn this. Yeah, that'll do the trick. Okay, let's go ahead and physics warp and try to turn our way up. It's still a little Kraken-y, but we'll head up here. We do not need to be on prograde. Okay. We missed it slightly, so we'll head over this direction. Oh, and we should definitely fire this stage. There we go. Off they go, and I fired them at a slightly different trajectory than our final burn trajectory, so hopefully that'll give us enough time. T-minus 7.5 minutes is when we want to burn this. Minutes? No, 7.5 seconds. Okay, so we'll go ahead and warp towards that. Those are a good long ways away now. Okay, and we're going to warp this in... What, we're under acceleration? No, we're not. Stop it. Okay. 7.5 seconds. I missed it slightly. It's okay. I wasn't exactly paying attention. I was thinking about these, but you can see here we're definitely going to miss them. So that's perfect. Okay, we'll just chase this a little bit. Good enough. Right? Yes, good enough. Okay, so now we need to plot an intercept course for min-miss, and that'll probably be like out here-ish. I mean, yeah, that's an intercept course. It's a retrograde intercept course, but it's an intercept course. What if we did this in the, if I can get zoomed in here and grab this. What if we did this in the next orbit? So that would put it up over here. Okay, so if we did it over here, +1 orbit is what we'll do. And that gets us this encounter here, which is not exactly perfect. We'll need to come back over here. This is very finicky to try to get. There we go. So we want to change the timing of it to be somewhere around... Actually, here's pretty good. That'll be fine. We have plenty of delta V to do a braking burn, so I'm not too concerned about it. Okay. Well, it is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we will land on Minmus. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time. Didn't quite hit that node, but it's close enough. There we go.